Thank you for joining us. So would you please start by telling the audience your name and a little bit about yourself?
Hi, my name is Yana. To make a story short, I lived abroad in Europe for 10 years, and 2 years ago I came back. It was September 2022. My European rendezvous started back in 2012. I came to Germany. Before that, I applied for a special status because I have German roots, so I had this opportunity to be recognized as a German. And for me, it was also an opportunity just to see the world. So I came to Germany. To be honest, I wanted to go back like in 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, but I decided to give it a chance at least. So somehow 10 years Germany. I also studied for 3 years. I did my bachelor in the Netherlands, though I didn't live in the Netherlands. I lived in Germany, but close to the Dutch border, like really close, like walking distance. And I enjoyed a year in UK. So I did
1 year in UK?
In UK, just before COVID break out, 2018-19. Yeah. After that, I came back again to Germany and then finally to Moscow.
And speaking of Moscow, what are your impressions of Moscow after having lived abroad for so long?
Oh my God, I was just really shocked. The thing is, I came to Moscow in the very beginning of 2021 after a very long time. It was winter holidays, our New Year celebrations, and in Europe they don't really put much into this, but for Russians, for me, it's my my favorite holiday. I just really since I was a child. I adore New Year time. Just really marvelous. It's winter fairy to me. So I came to Moscow. I looked around and I was just really shocked. I was really shocked about everything happened here. Everything so clean, so nicely organized, and I couldn't recognize the metro, like the map of the metro, just like became like 3 times bigger. So I recall the end stations from like 10 years ago, but now it's expanded like massively.
Wow.
Yeah, and they have new trains, new lines, electric buses. So it was really overwhelming.
But going back to what you said about being shocked upon your return, how different was Moscow when you left to what it is today in terms of infrastructure?
I don't recall the year when Sobyanin took the governance of the city. I recall Moscow taken care by Lushkov, and it was very different. But they didn't really took much care of the city before. Also, now they introduce many public space. They're all over around and they're used. They're not just like, oh, we have this public space. No, they held events, they invite artists, sportsmen, and just to conduct, like just for fun. Everything wasn't the case before. Just many like small things. I think life became in Moscow more relaxed.
Would you say there was a big effort to do this around the Olympics in 2018? Because it was quite a big international event. Do you think that played a role in how Moscow transformed?
Some say it was. It was really tried to do everything nice and cozy and entertaining, and also provided language support in city center. They also instructed police officers in the city center to to speak polite English and everything. Yeah, I think it was a part of this. So Moscow at that moment tried to be open for everyone, and also I heard people really enjoyed. So it was really, I think, yeah, it has some contribution to this.
But going back to your experience abroad, How could you compare, say, for instance, the Moscow Metro with the metro systems in the UK or Germany? What's the difference?
Well, so first of all, metro is my favorite mean of transport. I just adore it. So in Moscow, taxi service is also affordable, also very nice. But I prefer to go by metro. Just when we met, we had marble benches just at the station, and it's a masterpiece. I have not been to all the European metros. Yes, I've been to UK one, but it's the oldest system. That's why it's rather small, and well, how can one complain about this? Because it was built that time for certain purposes and still working. But the way how the different transport means connected in Moscow, it's much better because you have free exchange with Troika card for 90 minutes. Everything is nicely connected. In London, it's been a bit confusing to me. I've been also to Stockholm metro. Some say it's the most beautiful metro. Guys, sorry. No, please come to Moscow. Yeah. And I didn't dare to approach metro in Paris. So I can't say that Moscow safer than, for example, the French one, but like I just adore what we have in Moscow. For the period when they have to close some stations, they provide additional routes which are for free. And I also experienced they even set up a booth with free tea, chocolate and cookies.
Wow.
As an apology. Yeah, as it's been at Orekhova metro station at the south, Green Line. So during winter time they had to close, and so people had no opportunity to use metro, so they had to come outside to take a bus, and they had an opportunity to take free tea with a cookie and a chocolate. I was really shocked.
Wow.
Seriously, yeah, they had this booth. Yeah.
It seems unbelievable that the metro would shut down in any capacity.
No,
It would disrupt so many people.
No, and it's forbidden for critical infrastructure, which transport is. But in Germany, sometimes I experience something like, trains go on strike for a few days, then buses, then childcare facilities. They call it democracy. How can I survive a democracy like this?
Right. So we talked a little bit about the Moscow Metro. What about healthcare and education in comparison with Germany and Russia? Would you say it's affordable in Germany, or was it affordable in Russia?
Oh, healthcare is also it's very difficult topic for Germany. I don't think maybe it's not a difficult topic for Germany. It's for those who had a chance to experience other systems. In Russia, healthcare is free. It's really free. It's accessible. Now we have also apps. In my app, I can schedule an appointment. I see my medical records. Within a few hours, I can check the test results. I can also do same for my kid. So I added his data to the app, and I schedule his appointments. Likewise, I also can get same day appointment, another day appointment. I can reschedule nothing like this in Germany. Hospitals in Germany designed to make profit. Also, this question, like, are you gonna do this test? It's not like a small question; it's a huge question. So that's why they provide treatment according to the sales plan. I think they have the sales plan to to sell the most expensive procedures, not just treat you slightly, but just to cut your leg, something like this.
So would you say that there is a profit motive in the healthcare industry in Germany?
They are designed to make profit, and well, this is how they operate
Profit from tests and prescription drugs
from the patient.
from the patient.
Yeah. So I'm a patient. I come. Yes, it's not. Yes, in some cases it's literally out from my pocket. It's they charge my health insurance, but still they want to charge the highest amount of money. And also from me, I pay for my insurance, but I still have to pay for all these small tests. It's insane. So I come here at a hospital. They do prescriptions, the test for free.
Here in Russia?
Yes, here in Russia.
So here in Russia, tests are covered under your insurance?
Yeah, probably not all the tests. For example, there are some kind of like extra tests for pregnant women.
But basic ones?
Of
Like
course,
blood tests?
they're all covered. They're all covered, and they are much more than in Germany. In like how frequent they control your health. Yeah, 2022 when we came with my husband to Moscow in September, he brought COVID. He brought COVID, and he's a German citizen. And we had to call an ambulance because he had really high fever, and his private insurance did not help us much. So probably like just a rip of money, like useless when they buy this insurance, just travel insurance, just they did not help us like at all. So we had to call like our state ambulance. And after our German experience, we were sitting next to each other and like staring to each other, and I really saw like numbers like running through our foreheads, like because we
Thinking about the cost
yeah, thinking about
while
the
in
cost.
the ambulance?
Yes, I was like, oh my god, should we cancel it? Because free cars came to us. Free, because
And you wanted to cancel?
I was thinking about this, and I was pregnant. They took me immediately, like probably to separate from my husband, and my husband was really shocked. Like we both were sitting with such a huge eyes, like staring at each other. It was for free for him because it was an emergency. Even though he was on visa, he had no state insurance. He also had an opportunity to stay for 3 days at the hospital, but he said no, thank you. He stayed home. They provided him instructions on the medical, on the meds, and they phoned him to check on him.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he's a German citizen, and he was able to get all of this free of charge?
Yeah, free of charge, yeah. So
I think that's quite shocking to some of our viewers in the West, especially in the United States, because if someone were to have this type of care in the United States, it would be incredibly expensive, but it's free here in Russia.
But you see, the first word is say expensive, but it's an emergency. He's having a high fever, and also it's a case, for example, just imagine someone comes to Moscow and breaks leg. Something like unfortunate event happens. What should the person do?
So we talked a little bit about infrastructure and healthcare. What about general affordability? Living in Germany and living in Russia now, which countries would you say is more comfortable to live in terms of general cost of living?
Well, it depends on your income, of course. If you have very nice income, for example, if you're a politician in Germany, if you're Annalena Baerbock, you can allow you a stylist and all other fancy things, posh hotels and everything, and you don't see like how like people live in suburbs.
Yes, but of course you're not Annalena Baerbock, so living in Germany and now living in Russia. Where are you more comfortable?
Yeah, of course. Now in Moscow, and I feel so free here. But I want to stress that it really depends on your income. But still,
Yes.
I see that people can afford more here because basic services they are cheaper.
And how about average rent? So if you were to rent a apartment in Germany versus renting an apartment here in Russia, in Moscow, what is a more affordable city?
Yes, of course, Moscow. It depends on the place. Of course, you can find very expensive place, but you can also find something really affordable.
And there's always new apartments going up all over the place too, so it's very competitive.
Yeah, that's true. They're building like crazy. Yes, and it's not only Moscow. People like to stress, yes, it's only Moscow and St. Petersburg. Of course, these cities are different. Moscow is also its capital, and also it should, sorry guys, it should look the best because it is the capital. But I also have friends in other regions, in other cities, small cities like Pskov, close to Moscow, just around. They're also not lost. It's not like they're building like this face of Russia. Moscow and the rest is in decay. By no means, no. Murmansk is just a wonderful city.
But I thought that the West was best at so many things. Why is it that Moscow and Russia is able to do these things, and why is it that the West can't do what Moscow can in all these areas?
I think here we come into this, if you would like to call it, ideological difference. My experience, when you start thinking about just profit, it brings you nowhere. In Germany, unfortunately, it's the case for healthcare and public transportation. In Russia, we still have this legacy that first we think as a state how to make it best, and then we built nice railways, roads for people. Even if this village has like 15 people, there should be like a bus stop. A commercial services will say, no, it's not profitable. The bus should not go there. But not the case in Russia. So I think this is the core idea.
But you also talked about a legacy, so that there is, what's this legacy in institutions that thinks more about people in Russia?
It's everywhere, Soviet legacy.
Soviet legacy?
Yeah, so, but this free healthcare, school education, yes, universities are paid.
So this is the legacy of the USSR in Russia at work?
What I described is like its legacy, it's a positive legacy. In education definitely has a positive context because Soviet education system considered as very effective, and also medicine and also science. Yes, in this context it's truly positive because it's about profound knowledge, it's about structure, discipline. Yes, good quality, rather good quality. Yeah.
And talking about the Soviet Union and the Soviet legacy, how has your perception of the Soviet Union changed throughout your life?
Well, it's a very difficult topic to me because I was born in Soviet Union, but I was a kid.
It was dissolved. I don't recall much, and also during my school time, I was overwhelmed with amount of this information that communists were so bad and capitalism is only way we should build everything with capitalism because it's more effective.
And this was education in the 1990s?
Yes, 1990s. It was not told you directly. It was like, so to say, in the air. It was in the air that once I recall I learned that teacher of Russian language, she was like pro-communist. So like, oh, how come? I like her much, and she was very educated. And she told kids, you just don't understand. it's not that bad, and don't tell me all this rubbish. I was convinced at that point that it wasn't effective. So Soviet Union, why? Because it broke out, it didn't work. And I did not think about positive things of the system, about free healthcare. I just didn't know. In Russia, we were not told that in the West, in Europe, they have to pay.
As a Russian, do you consider it necessary to study the experiences of the USSR, both good and bad, in order to build a stronger and prosperous Russia?
Of course, I would, I would really advise anyone like to study history, and it's not only about experience of Soviet Union or United States. We should study like probably everyone's experience to build our own mind, to show, to really test, try what would work best. But looking at the Soviet Union, it had a lot of really working and nice ideas. So yeah, definitely. And also not only the good things, but also the reasons why it didn't work out.
And why it collapsed.
Yeah, why it collapsed. To my knowledge, it was due to poor governance. In economical sense, it's not only about rivalry with the West, it's not only about the oil price, it's about how they printed money, and this money were not supported by goods they produce. So it was poor economic governance at the very end, which led finally to collapse. And also what we had after that, it was also, well, the years with Yeltsin, it's just a shame.
Yes, I think, but I think perhaps Russia has come back from that in a way, and they've rethought that era.
Yeah, I see some parallels with, I'm sorry, Yeltsin, Putin, and Lushkov, Sobyanin.
Yes.
So, and I see that this positive experience, it grows and it will expand.
So talking about modern Russia, how about the future of Russia? So Russia has overcome some challenges, its historic challenges. It's had the lessons of the 90s and this flirtation with Western capitalism. But now there's a big development in Russia. So speaking about the Russian future, how do you see the Russian future? Is it bright or is it dark?
Talking about future, as I said, coming to Moscow 2021 in winter, I felt it like another planet. This is the future when I'm using apps, all the services are working, everything is so really user-friendly. And for me, this is the future. And Europe, I don't know, for any reasons they are trying like to go back. What we do in Russia, it's in our hands.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Yana, thank you so much for speaking with us today and telling us about life in modern Russia.
Thank you, Nicholas.
Thank you.
My pleasure.